Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Meredith Garofalo with our anchor Bryn Caswell. We are here to talk this afternoon about the severe weather risk for tonight. Bryn, a very busy morning. The team has been following this for days, and now here we are with that threat as we go into the evening.
It has been a wet start to our Sunday morning, and it's going to continue throughout this week with a lot of other rain, aren't we, Meredith?
We're going to have a couple more chances, but we want to make sure you know everything about the impact forecast, because today is actually a weather impact alert day for a line of strong to severe storms developing after 6 p.m. right around sunset and continuing overnight into the early morning hours. Severe storms will be possible, so please make sure you stay informed. And I want to show you the severe weather outlook for today, because the orange that we are in across central Ohio, that is a level 3 out of 5 on the severe scale, and all the different types of hazards are going to be possible. So we are looking at a risk for tornadoes, damaging winds, straight line winds, you might also hear us refer to that, and large hail, which means about 1 inch in diameter or bigger. 1 inch in diameter is the size of a quarter, but we could get some hailstones that are larger. It depends on how strong the updraft in the storms is. If you think about it, the longer that hailstone is up and continuing to freeze and refreeze, that's how it gets so large. And then so also we're going to watch out for a risk of some localized flooding, ponding of water in the roads, a lot of things to think about. But I do want to start off, though, in case we have watches or warnings issued throughout the day today, let's talk about baking cupcakes, for example. We'll make this easy for you and for your kids as well at home watching. So if a watch is issued, that means all the ingredients are there. Everything is in place. You're ready to go. But when a warning is issued, that means it's time to take action, get those cupcakes going, just like those storms would get going. And that means the threat is actually happening right now or about to happen within a very short period of time. Now, because there is that tornado risk, I want to remind you just of some quick safety tips. Now, know where that lowest level of your home or building that you're in is at, and I would have that place prepared. As I mentioned, that threat is up for us to see spin-up tornadoes. And the problem with spin-up tornadoes is these are embedded within the line of storms, so they can happen very quickly like that with little or no warning. And that's why I'm saying it can't hurt to have your pillows, blankets, helmets for you and for the kids. And I also like to add in there a pair of shoes, because if worst case scenario there was a tornado and there was debris, you want to have something to put on your feet to protect them from anything you might have to walk through. Now, for mobile homes, I would highly recommend, because we do have that elevated tornado risk, maybe you can stay somewhere tonight. And if not, maybe check in and find out where is that safe space in the community that you can go if a tornado watch or warning is issued. But if a warning is issued, you want to get out of that mobile home into a safe shelter. Having that plan in place will save you a lot of stress later, and it will make it feel a lot easier for you when you have to put a plan in place. But if for some reason you are in your car, I know this is after dark, but people do go to work in those overnight shifts. You want to make sure you're not staying in your car. You're at a safe shelter. If you have to stay in your car, cover your head. I mean, these are tips that we go over every year, but as we start to get into severe weather season again, they're just some very important things to keep in mind. So when we're talking about severe thunderstorms in general, you want to make sure you're staying connected. Charge your device before the storms start to hit. Once you have a power outage, if your phone's not charged, you may miss out on very important information. And again, that plan in place, it's like anything in life. You have the plan, it's ready to go. If we don't use it tonight, that's great. But if we do, at least you know what is going to be those steps to take to stay safe. Now, if we do have warnings this evening, you want to stay inside until the warning ends. It is after dark, but you have to remember with after dark storms as well, you're not going to see that storm until it's literally right in your backyard. And another thing I was reading about earlier that you may not realize is outdoor tornado sirens are only for you if you're outdoors. Likely you will not hear them. That's why it's a good thing to stay connected and have those other ways to get those warnings. Our team's going to be here for you, keeping you updated. We'll have those crawls scrolling on the screen, those updates if you got our app. But let's go through the hour by hour with some of the most recent data that came in this afternoon. So here's timing for us. Again, 7 o'clock. I said 6. Sometimes it can be an hour or two before, but let me walk you through this. So here's 7. You can start to see this line form. As we go into the 8 o'clock hour, you can see this really starts to take a definitive state. This is going to move through and it's going to happen fast. Sometimes we can have damaging straight line winds go through at 50, 60, 70 plus miles per hour. And you can just see even by 9 o'clock, this is moving through the Columbus Metro right along the I-70 corridor, impacting I-71, then starting to move into our eastern zones by 10 o'clock. Now, I do want to stress, too, this can still change. Storms can speed up or slow down depending on what we see when these storms actually form this afternoon. By 11 o'clock, this moves into our eastern counties. Think Zanesville, Cambridge, Caldwell, down to McConnellsville. But the good thing is, once the line moves through, the threat drops. So we just have to let this line pass. Really hoping that we don't get the extra energy from any sunshine this afternoon, but certainly still a concern, and that is why it's so important to make sure you have those ways to get to alerts. We can still see some rain overnight. Here's 3 o'clock, but you can see by the Monday morning commute, things are looking a lot quieter for us. So for tomorrow's forecast, though, as we kick off the week, much cooler. In fact, we actually hit our high of the day, 55 at 8, and then we just get colder throughout the rest of the day. So you might notice on the 7-day, the high and the low are pretty similar. We're actually going to hit that high, and then temperatures are going to crash afterwards. So again, we have that weather impact alert day today. That continues into tonight. And then you can see as we move forward into the rest of the week, we're also going to see another increase of a chance of severe weather as we go into the middle of the week. Of course, the 10 Weather Impact team will be keeping things very closely, Bryn. But, you know, I think a lot of people they get nervous, but there's no need to be afraid. If you know what you can expect, you can get through it.
Absolutely. Have that plan and have an emergency kit if you need to be out and about in your car as well. We touched on that a little bit this morning.
Yes. Make sure you know if the storm line hasn't passed yet, maybe wait to let it pass before you go out, and be also aware of your surroundings. There might be tree branches down or power lines.
Okay.
But lots of good tips. And also with storms on their way tonight, EMA officials are keeping a close eye on conditions to help you stay safe. We spoke to emergency management crews in Pickaway County, and they suggest not driving the storm if possible and staying inside in a safe location.
Hunker down as best as you can is what I try to tell people. Interior walls, no windows, try to find places that things are not going to fall on top of you. I also try to tell people messaging is the best thing that you can get, especially in the storms that come really late.
EMA crews also recommend having a plan in place for your family, like we were talking about, in case of an emergency. Now remember, avoid driving in high waters, turn around, don't drown. And if you have to be on the road, like Bryn just said, pack the emergency kit. And also with the storms coming, it's a chance to make sure you have reminders if or when those severe storms hit. Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz has some more for us right now.
After a record-setting year in the state of Ohio, thunderstorms and the threats they bring are top of mind. This season in Ohio can be a time of increased anxiety for many of us, but getting prepared can be done in 3 easy steps. Get those weather warnings, having a plan, and taking action. Now, getting those warnings in real time is top priority. Warnings can come right to your phone, alerting you of severe weather wherever you are, as long as you have a few basic settings checked. Now, in an iPhone, under Settings, scroll to Notifications, then scroll down to Government Alerts. In an Android, go to Settings, Safety, and Emergency, then into Wireless Emergency Alerts to get set up. Make sure emergency alerts for iPhone or extreme threats and severe threats for Android are on and that they always play sound. That means that you'll hear those no matter, even if the phone is off. Alerts are also available in Spanish. Now, of course, for this to work, it requires that your phone is charged and that you have service. Even on some good days, that service may be spotty for some of us, and when storm strikes, that service can go down. The best way to make sure that you get the information you need is a good old-fashioned weather radio. Now, they broadcast directly from the National Weather Service, relaying critical information even during network outages. You can usually find these weather radios at big box stores, hardware stores, or online, starting at about $20. One of my favorites is the old crank version. Doesn't need batteries or to be plugged in. This weather radio even has a flashlight. Now, as long as your weather radio has power, you and your family will be notified of life-threatening weather in real time. So, now that you have that information, you need to have a plan. When a warning is issued, that means threatening weather is occurring or likely, and you need to act now. That's why having a plan ahead of time is so important. Now, to get started, you probably want to put together a very simple emergency kit. That might include first aid items, hand sanitizer, water, really important medication, identification, non-perishable food, and of course, don't forget your pets. And make sure your family knows where this kit is. Also review with family and loved ones what to do and where to seek shelter and safety in each of the following threats, because they're different: a tornado, high winds, hail, lightning, and flooding. And in addition to being in your home or where you live, you should also have a plan for where you work, when you're at school, and even if you're outdoors as well. Last but not least, number 3, take action. If you've received a warning and you have your plan, then this last part should be pretty simple. Knowing what to do when severe weather strikes can keep you and your family safe and be prepared. That means you can take action quickly and respond to everything that these thunderstorms can throw our way.
Jerry, thank you so much. Such great tips there. And we were talking earlier, Meredith, about how when you're inside, maybe you're in your basement, you can't always hear those sirens.
Right.
So signing up for those phone alerts are vital.
It's very important, and have multiple ways to get your information. Just in case, we know basketball is on tonight. Have another way to get those alerts. So if something does happen, you can know to tune in. We'll be streaming. We'll have the latest for you. We just want you to have a nice, safe Sunday evening.
Absolutely.
Bryn, thank you for joining us. And that's it for your weather update here on 10 TV Plus. We will have more updates with meteorologist Michael Behrens. We've got you covered from the 10 Weather Impact team.